Hey, we're live. We're finally live. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Tanner, can you hear me? So make sure you can hear me. Let me see. Just gonna wait a second to see. Okay, so you can hear me. If you're watching right now, go into the chat and let me know where you're from. I want to know where you guys are from before we get started. I'm gonna let some people trickle in, but let me know where you guys are from. I'm personally from Los Angeles, so where are you guys tuning in from? Good morning. Good morning. Thank you guys for joining. San Diego, that's awesome. Close to me, about an hour away. Thank you, Marissa. Pittsburgh, London, awesome. New Jersey, Leipzig, Germany, that's awesome too. Yes, so people from everywhere, awesome. Dublin, Ireland. Now in Austin, Texas, awesome. So yeah, we have United Nations here. Yes, yes. Thank you, Tanner. Worldwide. Okay. So on today's show, what we're going to kind of be discussing is a little bit of everything. I went onto Twitter and asked everybody to kind of send me questions, and then also I'll be answering questions from the chat. But I also took some topics that have been like really popular on Twitter within the last week. So we're going to discuss those too. So we're going to talk about Eddie Nketiah, Saliba, and the January transfer window. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I put out a tweet the other day about Eddie Nketiah and whether we should sell him or not, and I got a lot of mixed answers to this. And seeing that he might be interested, or he might be talking to Wolves about a move in the January transfer window, I just want to know in the comments what you guys think. Would you sell Eddie Nketiah to Wolves in January? You guys let me know. You guys let me know in the comments if you would sell Eddie Nketiah in the January transfer window to Wolves. Okay. So the way I kind of think about it is, when it comes to Eddie Nketiah, I don't think that he's necessarily a bad player. I think he is a good player. And I also think, hold on, you guys, yeah. Okay, so I see a nope in the comment section. So yeah, I think it's pretty split. So the way I kind of think about it is, Eddie Nketiah is not a bad player. You know, he, I guess, came to us when he was about 15 from Chelsea, and he's had quite a bit of playing time under Arteta since he came from Leeds. And I think that he's shown that he is a really gritty player. He's really good at being kind of like the fox in the box. He's a really good poacher, and he's been really, really good for the under 21s for England. But the thing with Eddie Nketiah to me is that although he's a good young player, I don't think he necessarily fits the system. And I think we can be a little bit hesitant to get rid of our academy kids because we love them so much and we want them to make it. But ultimately, when we don't make decisions about the young players quick enough, we lose opportunities with other young players. So with Eddie, seeing the way that we're starting to play with Lacazette, where the center forward is very integral to our build-up play, I'm not sure that Eddie Nketiah necessarily has those attributes to be similar to Lacazette. He's very much a 5 yards out kind of striker. And when he's outside of the box, you can tell that he's a little bit uncomfortable, with the ball at his feet, which doesn't mean he's not a good player. It just means that those are not his strong attributes. So for me, seeing that Wolves would maybe be interested in buying him for between 15 to 20 million, I would bite their hand off for that. I think in the past, we've sold some of our younger players for not enough. And seeing the type of striker that Eddie Nketiah is, I would I would sell him. And it also would give us an opportunity to create a clear path for Balogun. So let me see what you guys are saying in the comment section. Before the last 3 games, he was our top goal scorer this season. He's young, not ready to lead the line, but useful on the bench. I do agree that he can be useful to us on the bench. Let's see. Hate criticizing young players. The experienced players have let us down. I definitely agree with that. And I think there's a big difference between analyzing a young player and criticizing. I've said kind of like over and over, like Eddie Nketiah is not a bad player. I'm not criticizing, like, I'm not saying that he won't have a great career. I'm just saying the way that Arsenal plays, he doesn't necessarily fit in the system. So, I mean, we could bring up another young striker from the academy and sell Eddie Nketiah and maybe get the same amount of goals that he's giving us. So let's see. Let's talk facts. You can't get the best money for a player in the January window. Selling him in the summer window makes more sense financially. Okay, I can see that. That makes sense. So you're still on board with selling him, but just sell him in the summer. Okay. He's too good for under 21, 23s. Football, just not ready for the step up to the Premier League at the moment. Has a lot of talent, but would like him to do a solid season on loan as a first choice striker. That's also an option too, to loan him out. Like, I wouldn't be upset if we loaned him out to like a championship or, you know, lower level Premier League team and see what he did from there. Let's see. Develops, doing so in the Europa Pub League. Okay. And Arsenal presser. Unless they're generational strikers, do usually take longer time to blossom. Okay, so again, they're it's kind of mixed. Some people want to sell, some people want to loan him out, some people want to keep him. So for you guys, what do you think would be a good like if we had to sell him, what would be like the lowest you would sell him for? Personally, for me, like, because I'm not completely sold on Eddie Nketiah, I would take between 15 and 20, but let me know what you guys think Eddie Nketiah is worth in the comment section. Let's see. Loan in the summer, but why sell to a rival? Is Wolves a rival of us? Let me know. 20 million is a lot of money for someone so unproven, but he may have some room to grow with that price tag. The only issue is that his deal expires in 2021. So that's something else that I wanted to bring up, is that I do feel like when you don't make decisive decisions are made for you. So essentially, we'll lose Balogun on a free this summer because we haven't created a clear path to the first team for him. And then what will happen is Eddie will get into his last year of his deal, and he will have the opportunity with the same agent as Balogun to run his deal down. And so that's a big deal, you guys. Like, we could potentially lose like 40 plus million from 2 players because we didn't make a decision. So it's not always about like, is this player a good player or not? It's about opportunity cost, you know? So for me, even though I don't know much about Balogun, like, I'm not saying that I claim like he's going to be the next greatest thing, but what I do know is that if we were to sell Eddie this summer or even in January, we could get 15 to 20 million and be able to re-sign Balogun. And if he didn't make it, then we can make 15 to 20 off of him. You know what I'm saying? So with the academy players, I'm apprehensive to lose them for free because that's why they're here. They're either here to serve the first team or to make us money. You know what I mean? So yeah. Yes, Wolves are definitely a rival. They're in and around 5th to 10th position. Okay. We should get more than Liverpool got for Brewster. Why do you think that? Is it because Brewster never scored in the Premier League, or why do you think we should get more than what Liverpool got for Brewster? Let me know. 15 to 20, don't be daft. So you think it's less or more? What do you think? Yep, when you don't make a decision is made for you. Exactly. Since the likes of Solanke. I went for 15 to 20. I think we should demand the same for Nketiah. Okay. So it's split, and it's a touchy situation because it's not like Nketiah is a bad player. I could easily see him sitting on the bench for us and coming in and scoring, some impact goals. Like I completely see that. But in terms of, the situation that we have with Balogun, it's completely connected to the Nketiah situation because if you remove Nketiah, then Balogun is under Lacazette. So he's a lot closer to the first team than he is right now. And again, I'm not saying that Balogun is the end all be all and he's going to be something great. But if you're telling me that if we made a decision right now to sell Nketiah, we could potentially make 20 for him and 20 for Balogun later, I'm taking that over potentially letting both of them run their deals down. They have the same agent, so they'll probably have the same thought process. And a lot of players, when they get within the last year of their deal, they're in no rush to leave, because once they leave for free, they can sign for whoever they want. They get a signing bonus. So there's a lot of positives for the player to run the deal down. Why sell a player we don't need to sell? So I think that's something with Arsenal that we usually only sell people when we need to sell them, like when we're desperate to sell them or they're about to run their deal down. But sometimes, like, again, there's opportunity cost, and good teams usually make decisions on young players and create pathways for young talent and make sure that they don't lose out on opportunity costs because they didn't actually have to sell them. So I'm not saying that we have to sell Nketiah. I'm saying that the opportunity will pass us by if we don't do it in January. And once we get to the summer, he'll be within a year. You know what I mean? We are rebuilding. We don't need to sell young players. When we have seniors, we don't need that. We can sell instead. But see, the thing is we have so much congestion in the striker position. We don't need like 5 strikers. We don't. We have Aubameyang, Martinelli, Lacazette, Balogun, and Nketiah. So making 20 million or, off of one of them is good for us. We would still have a lot of firepower up top, so I don't necessarily feel like we need to hoard all the strikers because we're rebuilding and we need to have as many options as possible. We would at best loan Eddie. Arteta likes him. I do agree. Arteta does like Eddie because of his work rate. This is a tricky situation as Balogun and Eddie have the same agent. Exactly. So it's not like you can go to the agent and kind of tell him one thing and, so they have to be careful. But with the Eddie links to Wolves coming out and Balogun kind of making noises that he might want to stay at Arsenal, I wouldn't be surprised if behind the scenes it's kind of already a known thing that we're going to shift Eddie on at some point and move Balogun up. How am I supposed to say it? I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Nketiah, Eddie Nketiah. I don't know. I'm sorry, you guys. Saliba or Laka, sorry, or both. During COVID, no fans. 20, not a chance. So you don't think we'll be able to get 20 million? Okay, that makes sense. So with Martinelli, as a striker, I've heard in the past that he sees himself as a wide player. He sees himself as left wing. Arteta sees him as a center forward. So depending on, I see him as a center forward. That's how I view him, but he can play out on the left. I think that he is, as a left winger, I would lean more towards somebody like Saka, but he's the type of player that for Arsenal and for Arteta would be really, really beneficial because he can play in multiple positions. But I personally think that as he matures in his as a player, he will be a center forward, like just a killer center forward, can, hit a ball long, can carry the ball from deep, can also be a part of interplay and is a fox in the box. He's kind of like a little bit of everything. And he really does remind me of like a mix between Luis Suarez and Alexis. So I think he could play in both positions, but I think long-term I see him as a striker. Let's see. You guys, give me a break. I really I'm struggling now. I want somebody to tell me how to say Nketiah. Like, if I know I'm saying it wrong. So I think it's a good segue into a different section, so I don't have to say Eddie's name anymore. But I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it or I'm not pronouncing it correctly. I apologize. For me, Martinelli can play in each of the front 3 forward positions. Reminds me of Alexis, has that X factor. Exactly. A little mix of Luis Suarez and Alexis. He's going to be a great player now and in the future. So the next topic that I kind of wanted to talk about is Saliba. I did see that he is starting for Nice today, so he's going to go straight in and play games for him, for them, which is really, really good. The loan situation is just a 6-month loan with no option or obligation to buy. And according to, I think, Ornstein or Chris Wheatley or one of them said that he's very much still in Arsenal's plans, so I don't necessarily anticipate the club coming out and saying that he's not, so you have to take it for what it is, but I think it's a good thing that they're saying that, he's still a part of our plans. And you guys let me know in the comment section how you guys feel about the Saliba situation. I think it's one of the most confusing situations that I've ever seen at Arsenal, especially with a young player that came in and we're thinking after his loan spell at Nketiah, he would come and start. And I think that that's what he was promised, that he would be a big part of the team starting this season, and to come in and play, one game against like MK Dons in preseason, and then to be kind of like just banished after that was totally strange, and I know that the club was saying that he wasn't ready to play, but I have a feeling that it was a lot more than that. I'm not sure if it has something to do with things outside of playing, maybe it's, another footballing reasons type of scenario, but it's perplexing. We've spent a lot of money on him, for a young player that's very highly regarded, it's just unfortunate, and I'm wondering what that means for Saliba's future moving forward. I saw that the loan may be extended to 18 months. If all it takes for him to get into the Arsenal team is to play 6 months at Nice, I'm really questioning whether he was really not good enough. Like, a 6-month loan is not really a lot, so I'm wondering if they're going to extend that loan, and if they are to extend the loan, what's going to happen in terms of the summer. Are we going to persist with holding, because we're going to lose Mustafi, Socrates, and Luis, and Saliba will be gone potentially. So we're going to move on with holding. They're already saying that Chambers is probably going to leave. So does that leave room for us to bring in a right-sided center back to play with Gabriel? What would you guys do? Would you bring in another right-sided center back, or would you persist with holding? What do you guys think? Let's see. Arsenal dropped the ball with Saliba. Should have been a loan in the summer if he wasn't a part of the plan. I agree. It's a disgrace that Arsenal messed up his loan back to Saint Etienne last summer. Something fishy. I agree. I don't think we'll ever know what actually happened, but it's more than just he's not ready to play. Arteta and his coaching staff decided he's not ready. Goes to ground easy, Mustafi-esque. Maybe a loan is the best thing. Also believe that there has been some personal issues. Yep. Tired of all the excuses on why Saliba couldn't play, and watch him start now instantly at Nice. He is going to start today in their game, so we'll be able to see. But watching him in the French league is not going to be a good indication of whether he's ready to play in the Premier League. We will have needed to see him actually start games for us. So I'm not sure if this is, I personally would have rather him have done some sort of loan, like at a lower level Premier League team or something like that, so we could really see. But hey, Chambers is better than Holding, in my opinion. I kind of think that too. I've always liked Chambers, but I think Arteta's made his decision. I think he was going to choose between Chambers and Holding. He's made his decision, so Chambers will probably leave. Everyone wants everything right now. No one has patience. I keep Rob Holding, solid option, great depth. Would love to see us get Konate to pair with Gabriel. We'll talk about Konate a little bit as well. I think Arteta is messing up with the Saliba situation. The kid is clearly ready to play, and there's no way Arteta can say that Mustafi is better as a sub or a starter than Saliba. I don't buy it. Yeah, so in terms of, what happens from here, I don't believe he's going to be on a 6-month loan and it's not going to be extended. I think he'll be gone for a little bit longer. I'm talking about Saliba. So if I'm assuming that, I would like us to bring in a right-sided center back in the summer, because Holding has been playing well, and I am, a proponent of him getting a new contract. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We're protecting his value. He's a good squad player, and ultimately him and Marie seem to have the right mentality so far to be a part of the squad moving forward. So he's a good age. Re-sign him, give him a new contract, and then if we decide to sell him, we can. And we get a top right-sided center back in the meantime. In terms of Konate from Leipzig, I think he's a great player, just like Upamecano is a great player. But as I watch Gabriel and I watch him, kind of the type of player that he is, I think he's going to need somebody a little bit more experienced next to him. I'm not really sold on bringing in another a player that's younger than him. I think we need some leadership in the back. I think we lack leadership in the back. I think Tierney can add a little bit of that, but I think somebody in the center back pairing needs to be a vocal leader. I'm not sure if Leno is a vocal enough leader in the back, so I'm not sure if this player exists, but if I had to make a decision on a right-sided center back, I would like somebody who's maybe Premier League proven and a little bit older than Gabriel, so he could lead Gabriel moving forward. So I do like Konate. He is a little bit, he's going to be expensive, and I'm not sure if he would leave Leipzig for Arsenal, but I do like him. Let's see. Saka costs nothing and plays, no excuses. Pepe is 72 million and needs time. It's football, not Chinese arithmetic. Okay. We have no leaders. I do agree with that. And that's why I'm saying, I don't want to bring in another Louise type character. I don't think his brand of leadership is what we really need. But in terms of Gabriel, he's getting used to, the league. And I think that if you bring in another young, center back that hasn't played in the Premier League, we're going to be really inexperienced in the back, So if we could bring in somebody a little bit more experienced that maybe has Premier League experience, that's what I would like. I don't know who that player is, though. No, the point is that we bought Runnerson knowing that he would play for us. That's the point. Comments in here are very speculative. Okay. Well, people are just sharing their opinions, and we want to have good, debate in the comments as well. So keep speculating, guys. It's fine. More options to send. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on the Saliba situation, and we don't really know what's going to happen with that. I mean, the best case scenario is that he goes to Nice, he plays the amount of games that's necessary for him to get the experience, and he comes in and he plays with Gabriel like we all want. But I don't think that's going to happen, so I would like to see a right-sided center back come in the summer. So now I'm going to answer just a couple of the questions that had come in via Twitter. I want to go ahead and get those out here. So let me just grab them really quick. Somebody asked me about Pepe. Give me one sec, you guys. Okay, so somebody asked, what do I think about Pepe's future at Arsenal? Like, how much longer do we persist with him? And, does he have a future at Arsenal? And, the Pepe situation is a really weird one, because as much as we want to forget about the price tag, we really can. We're constantly told by the media and the club that money is tight, so putting out, yes, that was you, Robin. Thank you so much for giving for putting out that question. Thank you so much. So when it comes to Pepe, I personally cannot get over the price tag. And with watching the way that we played in the last couple of games, I personally feel like his style of play is not going to mesh with the way that Arteta wants to play. The way that Arteta has been playing the team has been playing under Arteta for the last 3 games is a little bit more based on small triangles and interplay on the outside of the box to create space for crosses and cutbacks and little through balls and things like that. And Pepe really thrives in transition. He really thrives in a team that is good on the counterattack, and he likes space out in front. And when we play, because we're more of a possession-based team, the opposition team usually sits more further back so that it decreases the space for Aubameyang and Pepe to run into. They're both really good players in space where they can kind of run forward, take a touch and hit the ball, maybe take on one player. Pepe likes to take on several players. So the way that he plays is just not conducive to the way that Arteta is trying to build the team. When you look at Saka and you look at how he's played on the right-hand side, Pepe doesn't play like that. He can't play those little triangles with Lacazette and Emile Smith-Rowe and Bellerin in that way. That's just not the type of player that he is. He's a moments player. He's an individualistic type player. And Arteta's system is really built on team and the basics done over and over again perfectly. And Pepe really lacks the basics. Like, he can do the spectacular, but simple things he really struggles with, so I personally think that because we're not a Man City and we can't really hold on to players that aren't really working for as long, we have to figure out a way to shift him on. And it's just unfortunate because I want Pepe to work, but I've kind of got it in my head where I'm like, he's not going to work out, And at this point, we need to make, again, a decision. We talked about this with the Nketiah and Balogun scenario. When you don't make a decision, decisions are made for you, and there's opportunity cost. I do think that there's an opportunity for us to do something similar to what Everton did with Moise Kean. They loaned him out to PSG. He played for half a season, and now they want to go ahead and buy him. So if I'm Arsenal in the summer, I'm looking for somebody to take him on loan. And then I'm hoping that somebody will take him for 30 because, quite frankly, I don't think he was worth more than 40 when we bought him. We ended up paying a lot more because of Raul and the silliness with the way that they structured the deal and the amount of people that were getting a cut of that deal. So, I think our best case scenario with Pepe is to talk to him and say, we're going to send you back to France, or maybe even somewhere in Italy. And we're going to loan you out to somewhere like a team that plays a style that works with the way that you want to play. And then we hope that they want to buy him, So let's go in the comment section. You guys tell me what you think. Would you sell Pepe? Do you think he has a future at Arsenal? And if you're in the summer transfer window, what are you doing with him? Let's see. That was Don Raul overruling Emery, who wanted Zaha. Yeah, we know that I think it was, they don't even play on the same side. That's weird to me. Like, Pepe plays on the right, Zaha plays on the left. Zaha's Premier League proven, Pepe is not. Like, he's an unknown quantity. So the way that they kind of spinned it to us was like, he's a younger player, he's there for the future, we're going to build around him. But the one thing that they didn't take into account is the player profile. And he hasn't fit into the Emery system, and he definitely hasn't fit into Arteta's. So very poor recruitment. Pepe, laugh out loud, terrible judgment from the recruitment team. Yes, very poor judgment. It's going to go down as probably one of the worst transfers in history. I have to say that. We're going to take a loss on Pepe no matter what. He was never worth 72 million exactly. Not sure he was worth 40 when he was bought. Shady deal with Raul and co. Yep. Poor planning. Don't buy players who don't suit your system and style. Exactly. And ultimately, like, I think we don't give Arteta enough credit because he's a new manager. But any manager that comes into a new club is going to look at all of the players, pick out the ones that they want, and get rid of the ones that they don't. So Arteta shouldn't have it shouldn't be different for Arteta just because he's a new coach. Like, nobody would question Jose Mourinho if he came into Arsenal and he said he didn't want Pepe. I think that the questioning comes in because Arteta is new, but any coach that comes in is going to pick players that they do like and get rid of players that they don't. And Pepe is clearly seeing that he's behind Willian, is somebody that Arteta doesn't feel like is good for the system. I don't want us to use words or phrases like he doesn't like him. I don't think that that's the right terminology. He doesn't fit Arteta's system. I think Arteta clearly sees that he's a talented player. I think we all can see that he's talented, but the type of skill set that he has is not good for Arsenal. So it's not about his talent level. It's just about fitting into a system. I think Pepe can still play better with a 10 in the side. He looked okay with Ozil at times, still Saka's backup at best now. I would like to see him play maybe with Emile Smith-Rowe. And I do think that maybe if he can come in a little bit closer, closer to Lacazette or closer to the center forward and maybe try to connect with the players around him, he might be a little bit better. Pepe is hopeless off the ball, needs to play more central. Lone Star Londoner, you are brutal in the comments section. Poor planning. Yes. Agree. You agree with me. He was an Emery target and Arteta have tried, but not made it work. He needs to be sold. Yes. Here's a comment. Would I like to see Willian at 10? No, I'd like to see Willian pack his bags. I'm not interested in seeing Willian do anything. I don't think he can play at 10. He came in against West Brom and he lost the ball. The technical security that we had been told was a part of why we wanted Willian so bad has not shown up yet. So no, I don't want to see him at 10. I want to see him pack his bags and head on off somewhere else. Okay. I honestly would like to know what happened in the so-called investigation on Raul's shady deal with the Pepe signing. Yes, there's definitely some foul play there. So, we just have to live with it at this point and try to make the best out of it. And to me, the best that we can do is to sell him at this point and not let it fester. Played better in 3 at the back system. He played better with the 3 in the back system because I think that at that point we were playing more on transition. We were playing as a counterattacking side, so that would make sense that he would play better when we're more sitting in a compact shape, and then we would hit it up to Lacazette and he would release Pepe. Like, the best Pepe has played for us was in the semifinal and the final of the FA Cup. All right. So I did have another question from, let's see. Can find it. Give me 1 second, you guys. I had a question about squad building for the next couple of transfer windows. And it's just a difficult question to answer, like, in this short of time. Like, I want to have like a separate discussion about squad building and what I personally would like to see the club do within the next 2 or 3 transfer windows, but I can give you guys just kind of like a summary. So including this window here, like if I'm talking about this January transfer window, the summer window, and the summer window after that, what I would like to see is in the January transfer window, what I want to see is people leave. If I'm honest, the options or the people that we're being linked with don't really fit the bill for me, and I'm not really interested in just getting somebody to get somebody. I'd want them to be right for the project. So if we could get rid of Socrates, maybe Ozil, Mustafi, I think he's probably going to stay to the end, but just as many of the kind of players that are just kind of sitting around, if we can get rid of some of them. We've already gotten rid of Kolasinac in the meantime, that would be great. That's what I'd like to see. And I'd really like us to make a decision on the Eddie Nketiah and Balogun situation. I know that you guys in the comments have been a little bit like, don't sell Eddie, but I would like for a pathway to be made for Balogun and for us to kind of get that taken care of. I saw that Matt Macy is going to leave soon. So in the January transfer window, I'm totally okay with us just kind of getting rid of people. And then, the only risk there is placing a lot of our emphasis on Emile Smith-Rowe. I know we want to bring in a creative midfielder, and Ornstein said that, ESR is kind of seen as a backup to whoever we're going to get, but who is that person? If we're looking to bring in a creative midfielder like Buendia, we can talk about him. Is he good enough for Arsenal? I think he could play a part at Arsenal. What can he bring to the table? He's a creative player that plays off of the right-hand side. He's not a 10. He's not going to play centrally for us. I think there's a misconception about, he's a 10 of some sorts. He's not. He's just a creative player that plays off of the right-hand side. Will he be able to replicate the numbers that he's had in the championship in the Premier League? That's yet to be seen. When he played in the Premier League last season, he had 1 goal and 7 assists. He really, his contributions in that team really dried up towards the middle of the season, and he went into really bad form once they kind of, I guess, knew that they were going to get relegated. And then now he's in the championship and he's doing well, but the championship is a very different level than the Premier League, so I'm not sure if we're just going to be able to, he's going to be able to replicate that. And I'm not sure, if he's going to have the impact that a lot of Arsenal fans think he would have. Like, I don't think that he would be a bad player, but I don't think that he's the 10 that we're looking for. What it would take to get him away from a team that is fighting for promotion is a lot of money. I saw that we were going to try to maybe add a Willock and Reece Nelson into the equation, a player plus cash. I don't see that as a real option. I do think we need to make a decision on Willock and Reece, but I don't necessarily feel like they would be good bargaining chips for Norwich. I think they're going to be looking for cash, and a lot of it. I think it was quoted, or 40 million was the quote. If that's the case, we don't need Buendia for 40 million. There's better players out there that we can get for that type of cash in the summer. The only risk that we really have at the moment is putting a lot of stress on Emile Smith-Rowe, somebody who has had a lot of injury issues. But again, who is the player that we're trying to bring in? The Awa bus, the Awa bus has taken off. Like, it's gone. Like, Awa is not coming to Arsenal. Buendia is too expensive. Who else is really out there? Jack Grealish is going to cost 100 million. He's not going to leave Aston Villa for Arsenal. So, Brandt was mentioned. If you guys haven't looked at Drew's threads on Twitter about Julian Brandt, I do suggest that you do that before you just completely write off Julian Brandt as some flop at Dortmund. He hasn't been a flop. He actually did really well last season. And if we're talking about, in terms of a good fit, money-wise and position-wise, and being able to be in different system-wise, he would be a perfect fit. He can play deeper as like a deep 8. He can play 10, and he can play off the left. So if we're looking for somebody that can kind of fit into what we're trying to build with Saka, Martinelli, and ESR, Brandt at 25 million from Dortmund at 24 years old would be a really good option for us. But again, that would probably happen in the summer, which I'm perfectly okay with. I'd rather us wait in the summer to get who we really want than just get somebody in now, especially on a permanent that may not be a good fit. Then we have Isco. That seems like that's not going to happen. A 6-month loan deal for Isco. I think he just had a kid. He wants to stay in Spain. He wants to go to Sevilla. That's not going to happen. Who else is there? really. So, I mean, I think we're really scraping the bottom there for options. So let's see what you guys are saying in the comment section. Drew would be over the moon if we splashed 40 million on Buendia. I think he would have a heart attack. We ain't spending much. That's what got us in this mess. Matt Macy isn't very good on the ball. I don't think he's first team quality. No, wherever he's going is like lower levels. So yeah. Arsenal need to go all out on Grealish, just saying. I mean, I would love that. I would love that, but 100 million or something like that, I just don't see us doing it. He's a kid who's not even etched his name on the game, but he's wheeling around in a Ferrari. He must be thinking he's already cracked it. Who are we talking about, Stan? Who is that? Brandt? Okay, so you don't like Brandt? Like, elaborate a little bit more on that. You don't like him? You're not interested in him? What is the question mark for? He just signed a new deal. As just said, he's 100 million. Yes. I mean, Jack Grealish would cost a lot. I know Man City is looking at him like, I don't think financially we can compete and try to get him in, and it would be difficult. Isco and Eriksson, Drexler as well would all demand huge wages. Yes, like the wage situation as well. Like, I'm not sure if we can really risk bringing somebody like that in the situation that we're currently in with trying to just get rid of people on high wages. Let's see. Kim Kallstrom is not very busy. Yeah, we should probably go for him. Second, go for Husam Aouar in the summer. So, Aouar. We went through an entire summer of thinking we're going to get this kid, only for the deal to fall apart in the last couple seconds of the window. I think he's a great player. 22 years old, plays off the left-hand side, center midfielder, is a great dribbler, good ball progressor, can meg anybody, scores some goals, nice player, neat and tidy, good player. I know Arteta really likes him, but does he want to come to Arsenal? I have apprehensions about him really wanting to come to Arsenal, especially in the condition that we're in right now. We're clearly in a rebuild. I mean, we have climbed the table significantly, but we're not really near the European places, and we would have to see where we are in the summer. But in the summer, he'll have the option of Juventus and Real Madrid and other people that are in different situations, and he strikes me as the type of player that's looking for a really big move. And I think Arsenal last summer was kind of just like, I want to get out of Lyon, but Lyon is doing fine now in League One, so I think we need to let the Aouar thing go, and just kind of move on from it. Yep, we got Partey, more important. I do agree with that. I am a little traumatized by the Pepe situation, so I may not be super interested in bringing in players from France, So Aouar only plays when he feels like it. Yeah, he tends to drift in and out of games and plays well when the team plays well, plays bad when the team plays bad. Not good. Latest report today you saw about Aouar that Arsenal are no longer interested. I hope so. I hope we move on from that. I don't see the point in that. Okay, you guys, so we've kind of went over the questions that the topics that I wanted to just go ahead and cover. So now I'm just going to go through questions. And I know somebody had asked me about the Ozil situation in general. So I don't want to go into a long thing about Ozil because at this point, I think we're all kind of tired. I think we're all a little bit fatigued of the Ozil situation. It's been it's felt like a long divorce, or like a breakup. It's been tiring. It's been confusing. It's been all the things. But the way I view the Ozil situation, I think just at this point for both parties, our Arsenal and him, it's better for us to just sever ties, whether that's in January or that's in the summer. I don't care. It's over. It's over. So there's not really much to say about it. I think that, Hold on, you guys. I got a phone call. It's weird. So I think with Ozil, I think he has more to give. I do think that he can still play at some sort of level, maybe not in the Premier League, but not for Arsenal, but he has something to offer. He's a great player. Like, I don't want us to rewrite who he was as a player. He was very influential, one of the best 10s that ever played, especially like in the era that he was playing. So many players have credited him with being like the player that made them better. Coaches love him. He's had off the field issues at several different places, but great player, fell off the last couple years. It's just a messy situation. And I do believe that Arsenal's made mistakes and Ozil's made mistakes. And ultimately, we just need to sever ties. I don't really care where he goes, quite frankly. I'm not really interested. I'm not going to follow him after this. And yeah, so the Ozil situation to me is over. Like, the quicker that he leaves, the better. But I'm not 100% convinced that he'll leave in January. I know that there's reports coming out that Fenerbahce is trying to really pressure him to go ahead and leave now, maybe like a half a year loan and then a permanent in the summer. I would have to see it to believe it, because Ozil's been very stubborn about kind of staying here and finishing out his contract at Arsenal because he's so loyal, so, I don't really have much to say about the Ozil situation, but I did want to ask in the comment section about Ozil. This is the question that I wanted to ask you guys is, do you guys think that Ozil is an Arsenal legend? Tell me in the comments. Do you believe that Ozil is an Arsenal legend? You guys, my mom's in the chat. Say hello to my mom. Less said about the better. Yes, I agree, Mom. If you could have a redo, would you still re-sign Aubameyang? I didn't want to re-sign Aubameyang in the first place. So I talked about this on the Same Old Arsenal or the Bearded Gooners after party last night, but with Aubameyang, I was very tired of the whole, where's he going to go? He wanted to leave from like January. So I'm fatigued from him as well. He wanted to leave from January, and all we talked about last season is where is he going to go? Is he going to sign the contract? Is he going to sign the contract? Like, what is he going to do? And ultimately, it came down to the fact that coronavirus or the pandemic put him in a situation where he couldn't get the type of wages that he really wanted from another team. So he stayed at Arsenal because we offered him a good package. I wouldn't have re-signed him. I would have sold him. I would have sold him for 20, 30, 40 million. The reason being is because at some point we're going to have to lose him for free. We would have either lost him for free at the end of this season, or when we re-signed him, now we're going to lose him for free again. So I see us in a 5-year rebuild because we don't have the type of money that other teams have to just kind of rebuild the squad really quick. So see us in a 5-year rebuild. I thought that we could have kind of made do with what we had, and just rebuilt from there. I never would have re-signed Aubameyang. Sorry, y'all. Got a little cold. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Fenerbahce deal might be going through. No what? Yes, hi, my mom, yes. He's done some legendary things, but so have many other non-legend Arsenal players, okay? No way, he did well, but Ozil isn't a legend, not like Henry, Vieira, Dixon, Adams, etc. Okay, Mesut Ozil, a legend in his own lunchtime. Yes, your mom is smart. Yes, she is. She loves Arsenal too. Yep, her name is Renee. You don't sell a 30 goals a season player simple. Okay, I see that too. I think Ozil would have been a legend if he led us to the EPL title victory or even challenge at least. Okay. Re-signing Aubameyang and not letting players who can support him and not getting players who can support him is why Arsenal is in this situation. Yeah. I believe we need a goal-scoring midfielder like Bruno. But see, yes, we need that, but who is that player within our price range? We're not shopping at Barney's, we're at Walmart. You know what I mean? That player is Jack Grealish. He's the last Bruno left. There's not a lot of Brunos out there, but can we attract a Jack Grealish? Do we have the money? That's the issue. Ozil is not an Arsenal legend. Aubameyang's goals dried up. Hence, we are in the position now that even though okay. Ozil's attitude is incredibly poor. Remember when he threw his shirt at Emery? Legends don't act like that. So he's not a legend. And so in my opinion, the only way that you can define a legend is, legendary status is never debatable and it's never controversial and they're never divisive. There's not one Arsenal legend that you could look at, even if they weren't your favorite player, that you would dispute in any way. It's not about how many trophies that they've won. Ozil may be the most decorated Arsenal player in the Emirates era, but he didn't win most of those at Arsenal, and that's not really what makes a legend. A legend is never divisive. It's never a divisive character. It's always somebody that the majority of the fan base can say, yes, this is a legend. They played hard for the shirt. You have tons of memories of them. You have fond memories of them. Oh, really quick, Barney's is like a high-end department store. So yeah, but that's the best way I can describe a legend. Is a legend is never divisive. It's never debatable. And it's always like, yes, they're a legend, so because he's divisive character, just like Van Persie, unfortunately, just like Cesc, these players are not legends. They're not. They're good players that played for us for a moment in time, but you can't be an Arsenal legend and people question it. It's never questionable and it's never debatable. Ozil has held this club hostage. Yes, get rid. Yes, yes, yes. We are shopping at Dollar General and the corner store. Yes, we are. Some of you all don't bargain shop and it shows. Pascal Sigan is more of a legend than Mesut Ozil. I just gotta laugh at that. That's funny. If Wenger buys Auba in January, unless the Leicester year we win the league, and Ozil would be an undisputed legend attitude. No, I don't agree with that. Just because you win the league with Arsenal there are plenty of legends from other teams that have never won anything at that club. It's not about what you've won at the club. I mean, some of it is, but it's about how you played in the shirt. Like, that's a lot of it. Like, you think like there are teams that haven't won anything and literally they have legends of that club. I think what they've won is like less important than what they did in the shirt, like how you felt when they were playing. Did they give 110%? He's too divisive to be a legend. And even if, we had won the league the year that Leicester won, I can't get over the fact that he's just such a divisive character. I literally can't get over that. Yep, RVP is not a United legend and he won the league. Exactly. So it's not about what you won or if you led us to something. Like, he's just way too divisive for me. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm going to do about 10 more minutes of questions. So please drop your questions in the comment section. I will answer them before we get out of here. And I'm looking for some more that I had gotten earlier, just in case I didn't answer them. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure I haven't missed any that came in the DMs too. Got that one. Okay, I think I got them all. Okay, let's do some more questions, you guys. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Is Podolski an Arsenal legend then? No, come on. You know what I mean. Podolski is not an Arsenal legend. He wasn't here long enough to be an Arsenal legend. He was a good player, but no. I'm not saying that if you played hard for Arsenal, like, there are levels to it. But when you look at Arsenal legends over the years, like, they're just players that you have such fond memories of. They stayed at the club for a long period of time. They're not divisive. You can't dispute it. Like, Podolski, we can dispute that. He's not an Arsenal legend, but there's a huge difference between Ozil and Vieira. You just can't put them in the same category. Podolski is a cult hero. And I do think that there's legend and cult hero, and I do think like Santi falls in cult hero status. Podolski may fall in that category too. So there's levels to it. There's levels to it. Okay. Here's a question from Bulgarian Gunnar. When did you start following the Arsenal? So I don't know if my mom is still in the chat, but this is kind of like more her story than mine. So when I was younger, I played, don't kill me, I played soccer. We don't call it football here, but I played growing up, and we became kind of like obsessed with it. We actually loved to watch it. And my mom would try to find games for us to watch. And here in America, like there wasn't a lot on the television for you to watch. And if you found like an English Premier League game, it was either Manchester United or Arsenal at the time. It was like 2002, so they only played like the best teams. Like those are the only teams that had any sort of following in America anyway. And at first we started watching Manchester United, but then like as soon as we saw Arsenal, like I'll never forget, like, Mom, are you still in the chat? This is so your story. She's standing up by the TV and she was like, Jessica, look at this guy. Look at this Thierry Henry. He's so good. This Thierry Henry, so, and we just like fell in love from then and started watching all of their games. And, for me, like I was always like the only Black kid on my team, so seeing a team full of Black players was really like, it was good for me to see, and they were so good and everybody over there loved them. So I just fell in love with the team from there. That's how I started following the team. And it was about 2002 when I started watching, which was a great time to start watching, obviously, because we were so dominant, Should we play Abba on the left or Martinelli? So I think we're going to need them both for the next couple of years, obviously, because we're going to need to rotate. But the way that the team is playing and the way I believe from what I've seen Arteta to be like what he's trying to build, I think short-term and long-term Martinelli might be better in that position because he can press and he is better in build-up and link play and being able to do little triangles with Saka and Tierney and stuff like that. Aubameyang struggles with the build-up play. It's not me bashing Aubameyang. It's just not a part of his skill set. So, and Aubameyang's also 30, 31, 32 years old. He's lost pace. I think that's obvious to us at this point. Like, whether or not we want to believe it, like Aubameyang has lost pace, and that's one of his biggest attributes. So as he slows down, I personally would like to see him kind of take a step back and for us to play more of our games with Martinelli as the left wing. Also because I'm not sure that we're going to have Martinelli for a long time. Martinelli is such a big talent, and the bigger teams, unfortunately, I don't want to say this, because I do think Arsenal is a big club, but bigger teams and bigger clubs will start knocking. So if we only have Martinelli for 2 or 3 years, I'd like to use him. And when it comes to Aubameyang, like he's 32 years old, there's nothing wrong with having a world-class finisher, come off the bench or start certain games and not others. And I think they should share time at the moment. But I do think that as the season progresses and as we get more of Arteta's type of players in, I think Martinelli should play off the left and Aubameyang should kind of take a more a kind of like a step back. I don't think we should have to rely on him as much. Let's see. Couple more, you guys, couple more. With how Rowe plays at 10, would it be foolish for Arteta to try to go back to a 4-3-3? You mean as opposed to a 4-2-3-1? Because right now we're playing with 4 at the back. I don't know if people have really like through the really bad portion that those 7 games where we didn't win a game, we're playing a back 4. So we have switched to a back 4. And I think that right now we're playing at a 4-2-3-1 because that suits Xhaka and Ceballos and El Neni to have a partner in the midfield. If we were, I think we could move to a 4-3-3, especially if we start to, as the season goes on, you guys will see like a lot of teams are just going to sit back on us. I don't think that we've earned the right at this point to have teams come out at us. They're going to sit back in low blocks. So I think moving forward, we may only need like one person in the pivot. We might only need Thomas Partey. And if that's the case, and we don't need to have two, then we could play a midfield three, you know, instead of a 4-2-3-1 and having two more defensive minded and one up to one in front. But Smith Rowe is playing really well. And I think that he has the ability to play as a attacking 8 or a 10 or off wide. So we have options with Smith Rowe, but if Arteta wants to move to a 4-3-3, I think he can, especially when teams play against us in a low block and we want to get an additional attacking person that can break lines and play in between the lines. That would be a good option. What about Genie? Get Genie? He's so old. No, I wouldn't want him. I wouldn't want him. Okay, would you bring back Lucas Torreira from his loan and play him with Partey in the midfield? So my emotional response to this is like, yes, like bring him back. Like, of course, Lucas Torreira all the way. I did like Lucas Torreira. I did. Like, I thought that Emery really broke him by playing him out of position. And I don't think that his size is necessarily like a big problem in the Premier League. If you're a smart player, then you can play. And I think that he's a good player. But I think the ship may have sailed, and I think we need to maybe move him on. I question whether he can be a good player in London or in England. He didn't seem to really adapt. He had a lot of family issues. He just didn't seem like, you know, and I did hear of there being some, he just wasn't really in the squad, you know, like, you know, there's cliques in the squad. He didn't really have anybody that he felt that he, you know, really clicked with besides Emmy, and Emmy is gone now. So, you know, my emotional response to this is absolutely yes, bring him in. But my rational thought is try to get him on another loan somewhere else or try to sell him to Italy and just move on from the situation. I don't necessarily see him coming back into the squad. Yeah, Torreira at 10, it broke him. I think Torreira is an emotional player, plays off of confidence. He's a really small player. You know, his physical, he has to overcompensate for his physical, you know, flaws not being big enough and being put in a position and basically like, you're not good enough to play where you're a specialist at. I'm just going to throw you at a 10. That could really break a player. So, yeah, I feel bad for him. I do, but I don't think it's going to work out. Torreira was capable of scoring goals. That's why he got played there, but it was a mistake. It was a mistake. You can't, some players, you just can't just throw them in another position and hope it works. William through the middle will never be forgotten. Are you saying like when he played false 9? Is that what we're talking about? Do you think Guendouzi? No. Okay, so the thing about Guendouzi is that like I can't even begin to start thinking about how he is as a player because I just have a feeling that the relationship between him and Arteta we can't fix it. I don't see him coming back. I don't see him being a part of this team. I think it's too much damage there. But as Guendouzi as a player, he has a lot of developing to do. And if the thing about Thomas Partey's partner that's really important for people to understand is that Thomas Partey is a box-to-box midfielder. So whoever plays next to him in a pivot is going to have to sit deep, is going to have to sit and protect the back line. Thomas will come back, but that person has to be good CDM. He has to be able to be there by himself. Guendouzi has no positional and tactical IQ. He is a follow the ball, like a little kid. You know how little kids, when they play soccer for the first time, they just kind of follow the ball. That's what Guendouzi is. And it's a part of what makes him an exciting player is that he wants to be on the ball. He wants to go get it. But Arteta is very big on positional awareness and tactical IQ. So I don't see Guendouzi being able to come in. Like as much as we don't like Xhaka, you know, in terms of like his physical attributes and his athleticism, he's not a dumb player and he can absorb tactical, you know, what we're supposed to be doing on the field. So he will stay in his position. He won't get caught out. I can't see a system where Thomas can go and Guendouzi will sit. He's not even good enough defensively to do that. So yeah, I think Guendouzi is done just like Torreira is done. I think their Arsenal careers are done. Okay, I'm going to pick out one last question and we're going to get out of here because we're over an hour. Let's see if there is one. Oh, here we go. This is a good question. Last question from Don Giovanni. Do I believe Leno is a long-term number one? Such a good question. I think we should do like an episode of just talking about this specific thing, you know, because Leno is kind of like a divisive character, not because he's a bad person or anything like that, but because we all want different things in a goalkeeper. And although I do think that he's a top goalkeeper, he's definitely not a world-class goalkeeper. You know, world-class goalkeepers are like Jan Oblak, Neuer, Alisson, you know, goalkeepers like that. And what makes them so special is that you feel completely comfortable with them back there. They are leaders in the back. Leno doesn't give me that. As of late, I have seen him coming out of the box a lot more, commanding his box. But overall, in his time at being at Arsenal, I just think that when we get to the point where we really want to challenge, I think we'll need another goalkeeper. I would like to see us go out and get the goalkeeper. I would like to see us do what Liverpool did and get a top world-class goalkeeper to be back there. And I think at that point, even Leno might be ready to do something else. But long-term, I don't see Leno as the number one goalkeeper when we are wanting to challenge, whenever that is. You know, right now he's fine, but when we get to a point where we're talking about, you know, we're competing with Liverpool and Man City, one thing that they have that we don't is a world-class goalkeeper. Even Spurs, I think Lloris is a world-class goalkeeper. De Gea, world-class goalkeeper. You know, Chelsea is struggling. They don't have a world-class goalkeeper. At some point, if Mendy doesn't work out, they will go back and get a world-class goalkeeper. We need to be doing the same thing when we're looking to challenge. All right, you guys, that's it for today. Thank you so much for being a part of the very first episode of She Knows Arsenal. Just to let you guys know, like, moving forward, the shows probably won't be live. I may do a live every once in a while. If you guys do like this Q&A style, please let me know. And you could DM me or leave it in the comment section here if you like this. Like, I'll try to add this in. But on a weekly basis, I will be having guests on, and we will be talking about kind of like pre-plotted news or whatever, like current events that are going on with Arsenal. So it's going to be more of that style. We will touch on results and stuff like that, but what we're really going to be doing is diving into, you know, topics like squad building and maybe Leno and Aubameyang long-term and things like that. So if you guys have suggestions on things that you would like us to cover, please let me know. Again, my DMs are always open. My handles they're supposed to be there. If they're not there, obviously, like you guys know, like it's at She Knows Arsenal. You can send me via DM or a comment or whatever about something that you want me to talk about, and I will. But I will be having some exciting guests on in the coming weeks. The show is always going to be at this time, Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. British time, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So yeah, and before you guys leave, please like the video and subscribe to Tanner's channel. Tanner is at The Bearded Gooner. This is his channel, and I want to thank him for giving me the opportunity to have a show on his channel. I can use his platform. So I'm really grateful for that. So I'm really happy that I was able to get on here and talk to you guys. Thank you for the wonderful questions, the great debates in the chat. I think everybody was respectful. So I'm really, really happy about the way this turned out. Again, you can follow me at She Knows Arsenal and also at It's Jacinho. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.